Hey guys, welcome to Friday. We made it. You got here. Hope everybody is ready to hang out, have a little bit of fun, see a little modeling. We're almost there. It's almost weekend time. Hope everybody had a great week. We're going to give people about another minute to sign on, and then we will get rolling. Hornox is on time today. Great. Somebody else who's better at sub-D modeling than I am. All right. Let's get rolling. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's ready to do some modeling. I'm going to do some 3D modeling of Baby Yoda. This is the way. All right, that's as much as I can handle that.
Is it hot in there, or?
It's hot and it's loud and it's echoey and it smells funny because the glue hasn't been in there long enough to. Whew, got a little bit of a buzz right now. Hey everybody, welcome to SketchUp Live Modeling. I just want to bring this is the final result of the model we did back in December. I finally sanded it enough that I could paint it. So yeah, went for a seriously distressed look and went with that blue palette, you know.
It's on trend.
It's good stuff. So yeah, so I just had to show you that. I'm not going to wear it through the model, don't worry. I'm talking to me. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, but we made it. It's Friday. It's Baby Yoda Day. And with us, the first hour or so is going to be Kara answering questions, sending up links. Hi, Kara.
Hey, everyone. Happy Friday.
And then we have so much demand. So many people want to help out with the live stream that we're going to do shifts. So Casey will be back maybe around 1 or so. So when Kara's voice changes, you'll know that it's not something wrong with her. It's actually a different person. So having said that, we're going to kind of just get rolling here pretty quick. I do want to point out, as usual, I did make a topic in our forum. So if you have relevant information you want to pass me, images, that sort of thing, this is the place to do it. I already had a discussion in there with Kadi about daylight savings versus non-daylight savings time, and I don't know. I'm confused about the whole premise, much less how to actually use it. So I may have put MDT instead of MST. I don't really know what it's supposed to be. Do you know?
I don't either. I say MST, and then I saw on your image you put MDT, so I was like, well, I guess we're covering both.
Well, apparently there's an hour difference between the two. And
oh, that's pretty important.
So there is some important facts. There's stuff there. Anyhow, it's happening now. For those of you who are wondering when this will start, now is the time. So I don't know. I'm gonna look it up between now and next week. I'll have a better understanding of MDT versus MST. I put MST once, and somebody told me that I was supposed to actually put MDT.
Ooh, Dave and Karsten, the difference is winter and summer. So MST is now, and MDT is in the summer.
Okay, that's good. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is MDT, right? Right. Wait, did I say that right then?
MST this time in
MDT.
the winter.
Oh, see, I thought I had a shortcut. MST, I could remember. S for summer. D is for summer. S is for winter. I don't know. I give up. I'll ask someone else from now on when I post. I did want to give a I didn't really intend to do this, but I did have to. I came across this just this morning as I went into the forum. Forum user 10jello7, which is they are sometimes on here, posted this just because it was Star Wars related. We're doing Baby Yoda. And he posted some images of the Ralph McQuarrie Star Wars shuttle concept drawing he had. And I don't know if you guys know Ralph was a concept artist who worked on the original trilogy, creating designs for some of the spaceships that we all know and love from Star Wars. And he passed away in 2012, but they actually used some of his original concept drawings in the most recent Star Wars movies, which is kind of cool. But Tengel, this person on the forum actually shared their rendition, their model that they made based off of this concept drawing, which is really cool. I thought that was pretty neat.
Wow.
Neat model. Yeah, lots of smoothness, smooth lines, really cool. So yeah, that just, like I said, wasn't planning on it, just saw that like just before it came in here, and I had to share that. That was a pretty neat model got in there. All right, so with that, we're gonna hop in here, and we're gonna.
Oh, he's actually on right now.
Hey, there you are. Torsten from Germany. Good job. Love the model.
It's great.
Great work. So good work. So everybody go to the forum and give him another heart. All right, so we're gonna go in and do some Baby Yoda-ing today. I am feeling apprehensive about this model. I'm gonna be straightforward, just totally honest. Baby Yoda is something of a pop culture phenomenon right now. He's all over the place. Everybody knows what he looks like, and he's extremely cute. So I'm a little bit concerned that
Cute?
I'm...
I might have an unpopular opinion here. It looks a little terrifying to me.
To everybody but Kara, he's cute. And I'm concerned that I'm going to end up making something that looks scary to the rest of the population. So everybody besides Kara is going to think that what I create is scary. So I'm a little apprehensive about it because I've made some pretty horrific things using Sub D in the past. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so welcome everybody. Someone made a comment about Baby Jabba. I assume that's from Clone Wars. I just recently started watching Clone Wars with my son, and Baby Jabba is not cute. He's kind of a gross little worm-looking thing. All right, so before we hop in, this is going to be subdivision modeling, so this is not straight SketchUp. This is going to be using a handful of extensions. Those extensions are going to be Sub D from TomTom, vertex tools, did I say right? Yeah, from TomTom, and quad face tools from TomTom. So they're all TomTom Suite software, all that can be found on the extension warehouse. I did specifically set up my workspace a little bit different this time. This is the quad face toolbar right here on the right. Below that is the Sub D toolbar, and I have vertex tools assigned to a shortcut key. So I actually just hit V and that'll show up. That is on my keyboard or over here on my mouse. So I want to give you guys a rundown on where we're at. Normally when I model, I have these toolbars docked over here to the left, which gives me the whole space. Unfortunately, my face is over here, and so if I put those bars right over here on the side, they actually run down behind my shoulders. You can't see them all. So that's why they're over here on the right. So if you see me bring my mouse over here, wait for a second, and then come back, that's why that's happening. All right, so having said that, I do have some reference images, so I'm going to go ahead and import one of those into my style as a watermark, so I have it up on the screen. Let's do that. So I'm going to edit my style. I'm going to click on watermark. I'm going to hit plus. And those of you who have not been here before, this is one of my favorite ways to get reference images in here. I have a couple images. I think I like this is the brightest one. So I will bring him in. I'm going to put it in the background. I'm going to position it to the upper left.
Okay, he is kind of cute.
Yeah, especially when he's sitting there drinking soup. Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he's
I see
adorable.
it.
He is adorable. Well, this one's adorable. We'll see what I make. Could be something totally different. All right, so that's going to be my reference image. One of them. I may bring in more. So there's a couple different ways to go about this. I've done this several ways actually. So when we did Toy Story, I started with just primitive shapes and went in and added geometry to break it up, used vertex tools to move the points around and create a shape that I could run through the sub-D engine to make it smooth. I also, in one of our Ask Me to Model Anythings, I think our very first one, I took a photo of a face and went in and traced the geometry of the face and then used vertex tools to give it some depth and subdivided that. Both ways work. I think with this one, I'm going to do a little bit of a combination of both maybe. I'm going to start by getting his initial face shape in there. I'm going to kind of work sculpting. I'm going to start with kind of a spherically kind of shape for his head and then get his ears pulled out, and then we'll go in and work on his face. So that's my thought as of right now. We'll see how long that is the way to do this. All right, so what I generally do, my normal way of creating a sub-D model is I usually start with an octagon. There's not a specific reason. This is not something where like an octagon is what you have to have or anything like that. I don't need layers. I'm not going to have any more than one layer. But generally speaking, I will put in 8-sided polygon just because I like the way that I can break this apart. So I'm going to start with the octagon like that. I'm going to take it and rotate it. I started on the origin, so I can take it and rotate it, and we'll get this flat side facing forward. So I'm going to rotate like that. All right, that's Baby Yoda's head so far. I'm only going to do half of Yoda's head, so I don't want to have to model everything twice. Maybe at the end, I think we did this with Woody when we did it, did half the face, modeled it, and then came back and added like one eyebrow was higher than the other, so we merged it together and then made a little bit of adjustments. But Baby Yoda's very, very symmetrical, so I think we can get away with just doing half a face and copying it. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. I'm going to take that, and initially I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. There's a method to this. I have a thing going on in my head I'll share in a moment. So I'm just hitting Option to make new faces. All right. And I'm going to triple click and make that a component and not a group. That's important because I do want this to get copied, so I'm gonna make the other half. If I made it a group, then I'd be making changes on one side and it wouldn't be reflected on the other. So component, and I'm gonna call this half baby head. No, we'll call it half baby Yoda. Not half, yeah, it's, all right. And one of the other things I do run a lot is solid tools on here. I know I have faces inside here already, here and here, where I pulled those out, so I'm just gonna say fix that, get rid of those faces. Now, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make a copy over here. I can't spin it around because then what is currently gonna end up as the front of his face will end up on the back of the face on the other half, so what I have to do instead is actually, I'm just gonna scale it about this axis to -1, and then I'll bring it in like this. And there we go. That's, I mean, we're getting close. We're almost there. If I click in here, I'm gonna hide the rest of my model. Man, my shortcut key's not working. I'm gonna hide oh, it is working. I don't have a shortcut key on the wrong thing. So component edit, I have hide rest of model, and I also have hide similar components. Hide similar components is a different command. That's what I want to do because I want to actually hide the other half of that. When I subdivide this right now, if I hit my U key, which is my shortcut key, a couple things happen. One is it pulls all this together. So if I look at that, I created, two pieces that are apart. The other thing that happened is it created this spider web up here because this wasn't quadded. So I'm going to hit undo a couple times. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get rid of this face. The subdivision engine leaves open edges where they are. so it won't pull them into the mask. It'll still round this corner because geometry is connected, but it won't round it this way if these are open. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to put some lines across here to quad this top section. So see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sides on each piece of geometry here. All right, so if we subdivide that, I shouldn't get extra geometry, and I shouldn't pull that geometry in. So I'm going to hit, oh yeah, there we go. All right, so I know it's a little blocky for Baby Yoda's head right now, but it's going to get better. All right, so part of the reason I did this is a big section of his head is those ears coming out. So I wanted to mask those out first before I got a whole lot further with the rest of the model. And now I'm thinking of how to do this. So his ears kind of fold over and they come back. So it's kind of a, if you took a cross section of his ear right here, I'm sorry, I'm talking about cutting up Baby Yoda, but if you were to cut across there and look into it, you have kind of a candy cane shape. It does come down, it doesn't curl back up at the bottom, it kind of stays flat. So I'm thinking I might try to do something like that. So I might do something like that. This isn't a quad right now, so this wouldn't work if I hit sub D right this second. But I think I want to start with a shape like this. So I'm going to have to add some geometry here. There's different ways to do this too. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab this geometry all the way around while I have this real basic shape, and I'm going to move it with Option, and I'm just going to line it up here, and I'm going to line it up here to give me those breaks there. Same thing here, I can say grab all of this.
Sebastian has a tip.
All right.
Quad Face Tools has quad detection, which is fantastic to keep your work in check, is what he says.
It is good stuff. It'll, if I come over here and I click, I think it's this button, it checks and tells me what's good, what's not. So the issues I have right now is I have a triangle right here, so that's not quadded. That's a fix I can make. And these ones, even though they're rectangular-ish, they actually have more than 4 sides. So this one has 1, 2, because there's a break here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a 5-sided polygon. So is this one right here because of these points of connection. So what that means is I can clean up some of this. Like I don't need, whoops, I did need that. I don't need that. And same thing over here, I can go like that and get rid of that. The other spot I had that was an issue is right here going around. So what I could do is I could again grab this piece right here. And I gotta say there's a handful of different ways to do this. I had some really bad habits when I started because I taught myself how to do quad modeling, and I did some stuff that probably is not a good way to do it. And I got into some bad tips with how I added geometry, and I defaulted to SketchUp a lot. Like I jumped in and I'm like, oh, I know what I'll do here. I'll just go draw these lines, connect this stuff back together, clean it all up, and then I got quads again. There are better ways and more ideal workflows using quad face tools, that sort of thing. But this is just something I did. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to pull these pieces out. Yeah, something like that. So as I look at this, I had to think about how I wanted to form this geometry. So when I look at his head, it comes out big, it kind of goes small. So that's like one quad right there that I'm thinking of. Then I maybe have another quad that goes most of the ear, and then maybe one more quad that's going to make the tip. So I might do something like, I'm going to option pull this out like that, and then something like that maybe?
Some people are saying to check the sound settings.
Okay. Is it too quiet? I can turn it up.
Yeah, it sounds like some are having a hard time hearing.
All right, let me know if that's a little bit better. I apologize. I think I got a little bit of a thing in my throat too. I don't know if you can catch that. I might be sick, but I'm still here for you guys.
You're sick? What?
All right, I get any sympathy out of that. All right, so there we go. So now we got a low poly Yoda head. Look at that. See? All coming together. Okay, obviously this isn't going to work. I mean, it'll work if I come in here and I subdivide. It's actually kind of cool. I kind of like this. I kind of want to save this and come back later. It looks like a Lego head, like Lego Yoda.
Aztec Yoda.
Yeah, it's got an Aztec-y thing too. Okay, so there was sound was gone for a few seconds. All right, so we're back at it now. Hopefully, if something does happen, you guys already know that. If there's a problem, just let me know, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, and there's a lot of internal faces right now. All right, so what I can do is I can come over here real quick, and I can just, again, this is probably a bad habit. There's probably better ways to do this. Hornox, who's on here also, is a brilliant subdivision modeler. I'm very inspired by his work. He's probably rolling his eyes because he has way better ways of doing this. But, well, there we go. Okay. One of the problems with sub-D, like I said, I do use it a lot on these models. One of the issues with leaving your model open like this is it never actually sees it as ever being a solid. So some of your automatic fixing goes away. But that's just a point. If you do want to use it on a model like this, I could go like this, hit solid inspector, fix it, and then come back and delete that. That's an option also.
Save from Gamborg.
Oh, you're the man, Gamborg. All right, let's save that. Baby Yoda. All right, I'm going to come in here now. And I haven't used vertex tools yet. You guys have probably noticed that. Where I can, if I can use a normal standard SketchUp tool, I do like to use that. All right, so this is going to come this way. Once we get out here, I just want to take, actually I just want to take that piece and I'm going to move it up. Let's see. That's kind of giving me the shape I'm looking for. All right, so I'll take this now. I'm going to scoot that up. Grab this piece, scoot this up. See how that looks? All right, we're getting there. We're still a little blocky, and that's okay. Again, I don't know how other people do this. I don't know. I don't know that I'm the perfect person to get every workflow from because I tend to wing it. But I hopefully, as I do this, I'm walking through enough of my workflow that you guys are learning something. There we go, somewhere like that. Let's see. Yeah, that is totally the look that I'm trying to go for. All right. Go like that. I'll take this whole mess here, pull that up. So at this point, still working with just native SketchUp tools. Haven't gotten into any tricky stuff yet. I'm going to take this whole piece and scoot it in. This, I'm trying to create the taper. And I'm trying, as I create that taper where it comes together, I want to try to maintain geometry if possible. I may come in here and have some geometry merge, but if you look right now, I still have that same end geometry that I started with, so nothing has merged yet. But as I come into, you know, this little point here, I may end up with less geometry than I started. So specifically, I may take, this is how I'm feeling inclined to model this, is to take this piece all the way up to there. So that does create a non-polygon. That does, excuse me, that creates a non-quad. It's still a polygon, but I do have two 3-sided pieces right now. Fortunately, the sub-D engine is okay with that. It's not going to complain. So if I hit subdivide, that works okay. What you don't want to do is have polygons with more than 4 sides. 3 is all right, 2 is a line, so that's an easy one. But yeah, that's the thing you want to keep an eye out for. So now I can see how that kind of comes together. I still feel like this is extra geometry right here, so I may try to, as I pull this out, actually have all this merged down into just 2 pieces rather than these 3. So I might grab like this piece right here, pull that in like that. Let's hit that. Yeah, that is exactly what I want. Cool. So now what I can do is take this one right here, and again, still just using, up till now, still just using standard move tools, nothing fancy yet. Oh, I just got to a point where I gotta get fancy. All right, so it's coming along. It's looking cool, it's looking good. So Danny's asking how I subdivided. I'm actually running the sub-D tool from TomTom, and I have it assigned to a shortcut key. So as long as I have the group selected that I want to subdivide, I just have to hit U on my keyboard or my 3D mouse, I have it mapped. So that's looking pretty cool. I do want to start moving stuff. So it's still blocky though, right? So if I look at this, it's getting softer, but it's still, I mean, you can see this shape, it's still kind of clunky. So what my workflow looks like for that is to start systematically making that a little more random. You know, it's systematic randomization. I don't know if that's really a thing or not, but that's the thing I'm gonna do. This is where I get into vertex tools, because I start wanting to move points rather than always moving geometry. So having said that, I'm gonna move some geometry straight up. Like that, nope. All right, so here's where I gotta get into vertex tools. Look what happened when I did that. See this nice flat, this quad and this quad? As soon as I moved that up, I broke those quads. This is the problem with the standard editing tools, is they don't honor quads, because they don't know what quads are. So what I want to make sure to do is when I come in here to do this stuff, this is where I want to use vertex tools. Vertex tools is also assigned to a shortcut key. It's V on my keyboard or my mouse, and I can just pull that up and vertically like that, and see that it saves that geometry. I want to do the same thing for these 2 points right here. All right, I just found a problem with my layout. My vertices are called out right here, and you can actually see it easier on that screen than I can on this screen. They're over black text. Fortunately, the number that I watch when I check to see it, make sure I don't have too much or too little geometry selected, is this number right here in the beginning. And that's right over a little white patch right there. So I think that it'll be okay. All right, so that's
good.
It's looking Yoda-y for sure. All right, so a little bit, he's still a little too beefy, all right, a little bit too thick up here. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab this, and with vertex tools, just scoot that up. A little more hollow ear shape here. Here, vertex tools, scoot that up. And then I think I want to take this whole piece. Actually, what I really want to do, I'll take that line and use vertex tools to push that up.
Some people are saying you can move the text if you need to.
Yeah, I think I can drag it. I'll stick right there. Good call, good call. Can't, oh no, I can move this part by grabbing like, I'll scoot that over there maybe. That's an excellent point. Thank you for reminding me. I think I've been reminded of that point like 5 or 6 times. I think on this stream you guys have caught me on that and had to help me before, so thanks for persevering. Thanks for reminding me again and again. That's what teaching is. Teaching is telling someone something you've already told them multiple times before.
Exactly. Until it finally sinks in.
Or you quit. All right, so I'm gonna grab this piece, and pop my head inside here. Oh, I'm gonna get inside baby Yoda's ear. I'm gonna take those 3 pieces, and I'm gonna use vertex tools to scoot those up. Make his ear get narrow there. Okay, cool. Just keep toggling you on and off. All right, I'm gonna make this, sorry, it's a vertex tool error that I seem to be really good at causing. I'm gonna grab this, and this, and use vertex tools to pull that out this way a little bit. I'm gonna take this point right here, and I'm gonna pull it up here so I can take these pieces right here and extend them out further too. All right, that's looking better. That's looking
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice and pointy.
I like it. All right, I just want to bring this piece up. I still feel like well, no, he's got some healthy ears. They're not tiny. I'm going to take this line right here, scoop that in a little bit, and then maybe even just take just this point and bring it back this way. And this is what most of subdivision modeling is when I do it, it's kind of like sculpting. Just gonna grab something, push it around a little bit, see what happens. Give it a little more concave shape in there. Yeah. Still feel like, no, I want a bigger, see this step right here? It's very deliberate and it's far more exaggerated than what I have. So I wanna get that. I'm gonna take this line. So I know, nope, wrong button. Something more like that. It's closer. I may end up actually adding a little bit of a crease right here, I think, just to get that to stay. I also want to get those 4 points and take those all, oops, upwards together. All right, all right, all right, all right. So at this point, this is where I start fine-tuning. Actually, man, the way to fix that, I don't know if anybody else gets that or if I'm just lucky and the only one who gets that from Vertex Tools, but the way to fix that is to close SketchUp and restart it if you guys run into that problem. All right, looks good. I do want to add a little bit more of a crease here because I want this to be a little sharper, so I'm going to grab this line right here. I'm going to click on my crease tool. I'm going to put it like, let's try 67%. Let's do that. All right, that held it a little bit. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say that for right now, first roughing in geometry, that's pretty good. Something to remember as I do this too, I might bring this over here. As I select this, this is a first level subdivision. So this is the roughest subdivision I can do. I can always come in here and increase this just to see what that looks like. So as it gets smoother and smoother, it's going to look better. But I do want to do most of my work down here because it's much quicker. All right. Isn't Tom great? He's been by this podcast a couple times, this live stream. I should put, all right, I gotta be fully transparent. This shirt I'm wearing is not my shirt. You may have, I mean, actually a men's extra, extra large too. So I'm, according to national standards, I'm a taller than average male, but I'm not an XXL person. This is a little too big on me because the shirt I wore again today had green text on it.
Oh no, you keep doing that.
Again, teaching is repeating the same thing. So one day I'll learn and stop going, hey, this is a fun shirt, let's take that. I'm sorry guys. This is the reality, this is where I'm at. So kind of feeling good about getting this far, you know. Didn't start in a great spot. All right, so now that we've covered that I'm wearing someone else's clothes. Sorry, hold on.
At least you found something.
That is true. All right, sorry, I have microphone problems too. All right. Yes, right here, this could be a quad. You're right. So let's look at how to do that. I'm going to unsubdivide, and this came from, I think, merging geometry together. So if you run into a situation like this, one thing, so here's how to go about this. Turn on hidden so I can see the lines. And there are a couple things that make a quad. A quad is four sides that are broken by this line. So I'm going to pick a line that breaks it, and here's what a broken line looks like. It's softened, it's smoothed, and this is an important part, cast shadows is turned off. It's weird, but cast shadows is a value that every edge has in SketchUp. So I'm going to grab this line and this line right now. I'm going to soften both, smooth both, and turn shadows off for both. And there we go. Yep, much cleaner quad right there. And it should subdivide pretty much the same way. No big difference there. Good catch, Titus. Thank you. All right, on to Yoda head. Okay, so Yoda has Baby Yoda has a very distinct Cabbage Patch Kid-like face. It kind of comes up like this. It's wide. It's not like super domed. It's actually pretty flat just above his ears. So when I come in here, I'm gonna grab these lines to start with, vertex tools, and pull those down. So I get something like that. It's a good start. No, I'm gonna undo that. I want to add another line right here before I move that down. That's going to maintain that all the way across, so I get that. And that's pretty quickly, pretty close to the profile of the top of his head. Obviously, it's not right this way, but it is pretty good looking over here. While I'm going to do the bottom of his face, can anybody out there find a profile of Baby Yoda's head? Because I have not been able to do that. Maybe you guys are just huge Baby Yoda fans and already have it. I don't know. But I've been looking for something that shows what his face looks like from the side, like from this view, and I have not been able to find it. So if anybody's, you know, bored, and wants to just take a peek and see if they have, or can find that, that would be cool. If not, I'm no worse off than where I'm at right now. All right, so I'm going to move that up like that. Looks good. Yeah, so from the front, I think that's a pretty good shape. Where I'm really struggling right now is over here. So I'm gonna do some things. I'm gonna grab all this geometry and all this geometry. So that's that square at the front and the square at the bottom. And I'm gonna use vertex tools to scoot that up a little bit. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's a work in progress. Alice is asking if I'm going to add the short, soft Yoda hair.
You have to, right?
Do I?
How would you make that effect in SketchUp?
Yeah. I would. I probably wouldn't. Would be the true answer.
That would be really difficult.
Yeah, Because you can actually, I mean, you can see it, right? It catches light over the top.
It's
So
like fur, right? Or is it hair?
it is, it's fuzzy. It's like curly, it's like baby, like goose down or something. I don't know. It's, I don't know
Goose down.
what exactly. Oops, look at this thing happen right here. I created a surface on the inside there. Let's see if I can take this up a little bit. Does that help with my Yoda head shape? Okay. All right, so we got a profile of not so baby Yoda in the form right now. That looks, it's a good reference for sure. So this is what Kadi set us up with. And this is kind of one of my questions is how far back on the head the ear is. So being as that we're in the same race, right? His ear is pretty close to the back of it. The back of the ear is pretty close to the back of his head, which would mean I could take like maybe this whole chunk right here, and rather than moving it, I'm just gonna I still want to use vertex tools, but I'm gonna scale it. So I'm gonna make the section of his head smaller, and then scoot it back a little bit. All right, so end up with more like that shape, whereas his head's more front heavy. Yeah, something like that. All right, I'm gonna take this, use vertex tool to pull that out like that. Vertex tools to pull this back in. All right, so just looking at getting the back of his head looking better, that's great. Still, he's got a little point right here that I want to take care of, but I think for the most part, that's probably going to be where I end up, and we'll move into the front. But yeah, this point right here is a little too pointy. So I'm going to take care of that by, again, this is where vertex tools sets itself apart from standard SketchUp editing tools, is because I can go into vertex tools. I could say grab just this one point, and let's scoot that back like that, and then we'll grab this point right here, scoot that back. Maybe we'll take 2 points here, scoot them back. I feel like I want to pull these back just a touch. Subdivide that. All right, there we go. That's coming along. That's better. Still, okay, so I feel like it's sharp right here. So I might do the same thing. Just come. You can pre-select two. In this case, I'm just moving a line, so I might pre-select those two and then hit vertex tools. Vertex tools is a really versatile solution for moving geometry. All right, there we go. Subdivide that. Okay, that's looking all right. I do think that I'm going to crease the back of his ear. So you can see when I subdivide right now, it pulls that, so I end up with that, that saddle, subdivided saddle geometry. I don't want to Google anything. That's why I was asking you guys to. So if I take those right now and I hit crease, and I'm gonna do 100%, and I'm gonna subdivide. So that's what a total crease looks like in this situation. And I think that's actually, I don't think that's bad. I think that's actually pretty good. I might crease up this line a little bit. You can, with sub D, you can crease while you're subdivided, but it can be kind of slow going. So I generally don't do that. I generally unsubdivide before I do that. But yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and increase our subdivision count real quick and see what looks pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and click my hidden line just to see what that model looks like so far. All right, so we're a little cartoony, but we're early on. What time is it? We're only like 40 minutes into this thing. Less than that, because I talk too much. So that's looking pretty good. This is a weird thing happening here. I have a little bit of a shelf happening right here that I don't love the look of. See that right there, that break? I want to smooth that out. Oops, gotta select it. So let's see. All right, that's the problem, is that these pieces got to go back. All right, so I'm just going to grab these two, just like I did before. I keep confusing subdivide and vertex tools. That's where I'm at. All right, pull those lines back in his head. All right, that's better. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good. You guys tell I'm stalling on the face. I really don't want to get in the face. I'm a little scared. All right, so yeah, so from there, we use 2D tools to draw a facial expression on him, and he's done. Okay. So that's the next piece. So a couple things I'm already thinking about. So his face, and if you look at the old Yoda face here, okay, so there we have, it's even more exaggerated here, but man, those ears are far back. There's a fairly large flat section in front of the ears. In fact, the other thing I'm noticing between both of these is that, no, I guess not too bad. So I can actually, I think I can take this whole section and bring it forward like that. Large sweeping changes. Yeah, that's better. If I look at that, here, let's do a little side by side. That's getting closer. His ear's down, obviously, but yeah, that's it's a fairly flat face. That's good to know. That's right. Inspired by. It was kind of funny this morning. I was thinking about this. I've done models in the past that are basically me creating a 3D model of a thing that is actually a 3D model and doesn't exist in the real world. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I'm doing that again, and then I realized, no, baby, he's actually a thing. This is a puppet for the most part. So
Yep.
I'm actually modeling a real world thing this time. This is not a fake character. Okay, enough stalling. Let's do this thing. Okay. So I'm going to bring this line out further. That's going to be kind of this portion right around his eyes is kind of like framed up like that. And I'm going to actually exaggerate it. One of the things you have to get used to, and I still struggle with this all the time, is subdivision. When you hit sub D, it pulls geometry back. So pulls two planes like this, it pulls them back like that. That's what it does. So when you have big open pieces like this, it pulls back even further. So I have to make sure to kind of exaggerate and pull stuff out further than I think it really has to go sometimes. All right, that is looking good. I'll take this line and move it up. Baby Yoda's a little more highbrow. Old Yoda is a little more furrowed in the brow. He's full of wonder and excitement, so his brow's up high. He also, so he kind of has, U is my shortcut button for sub D, subdivide the current model. The question on the chat right now. All right, so I'm going to have to add some loops. Loops are sets of geometry that break up what I got going on here. So I'm going to take these lines right here and scoot them over this way. And that's going to be maybe this right side here. So coming down the middle, I need a loop right here so I can create an eye socket, but then also I have to have somewhere I can start throwing in his mouth shape. So I'm going to grab this line right here and take that ring all the way around. So a ring is a set of perpendicular lines that go all the way around a geometry. So when I select those lines like that, then I can tell it to add a loop to it. And that's what a loop looks like. So as I look at this, what I'm seeing is, okay, here's his brow is up here. This loop is going to create this brow right here. This is going to end up being an eye socket. And then I'm going to have to add more geometry down here for where his mouth goes across. So we might see, what does a ring down here look like? All right, and add another loop right there. Okay, now I'm going to take vertex tools and I'm going to kind of start sketching in 2D a little bit. So this is kind of this shape. Whoops, I got 6 vertices when I did that selection. That's too much. Just want to take these 2 down. Take these 2 and pull them down. I got that thing going there. This might come up like this more. His nose is going to be in here somewhere. Okay, yeah, that's kind of San Yoda face-ish. Ugh, I don't know.
It's getting close. Somebody said it's starting to look stormtrooper-ish.
Hey, we don't know. We'll see where he goes. I mean, you know, crazier things have happened than Yoda turning into a stormtrooper. Reading tea leaves here. All right, so I'm going to grab this. All right. Yeah, totally. So one of the nice things, this is one of the things I really like about quad modeling, is once you have your quad shape, you can start moving those points around, and in some cases you can even lap geometry over itself with vertex tools, and it'll keep your quad mesh. You're safe. So you can actually twist stuff like this, like here. It does not look like a traditional quad, but it's going to work. See, look at that. Nice. Yeah, so stop it. This is one of those times where a quick restart of SketchUp will keep that thing from popping up, but I won't do it because I don't.
Did you save?
Ooh, I haven't done that for a while. Save. When was the last time somebody told me to save? Oh, there we go. It was a while ago.
Yeah?
Save our souls. Oh, there's another one, save. Okay, yeah, I gotta watch comments more often. I know. All right, so I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna try making an offset. This, of course, is not a quad. What I'd have to do is come in here and connect the corners here to make this a quad, or use Tig's split donut command. Donut. Split donut will actually go in and break all that for me, because what I can do then is I can take that and I can move it back in a little bit. So now we're getting at least that cavity of where his eye is going to go. And I'm actually going to play with scale a little bit. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to use vertex tools to scale a little bit, because that's going to honor quads. Okay. Looks all right. I'm going to take this line. I don't know. I'm making stuff up again. At this point, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to take this whole line right here, 4 points. I'm going to pull those back this way. Maybe. I think I'm going to have to end up doing something like this. I'm going to have to add another ring down here at some point. But to get his mouth out here, got to add more detail in there to get the relief. So I don't know what I'm doing. It's got to Ugh, come on, Yoda. That's not your fault. I'm sorry, baby Yoda.
You yelling at Yoda now?
No, no, no. Of course not. What kind of monster would yell at Yoda?
He's just so cute and fuzzy.
That's so. I'm gonna assume Mandalorian as a whole has been out for a while now, so I'm gonna assume a lot of you guys have seen it. I watched one of the our whole family's watched it, I think, but we were watching. Was it the last one? Where it started where the stormtroopers had Baby Yoda, and they're being mean to him. That I'll tell you right now, that did not go over well in my household.
Sounds pretty traumatic.
I had to remind my wife, I'm like, they're bad guys. They're supposed to be bad. She's like, that's not okay. You don't treat Baby Yoda like that. All right, so I'm gonna grab this line and this line. These vertex tools pull it this way. All right, see, that's getting better. All right, so that might be a little bit too exaggerated of a brow and eye socket there. Yeah, that's probably a little much. So I may want to, stop it. Okay, I may have to go ahead and, all right, move that, pull that back in a little bit deeper. All right, so that's not terrible. I actually kind of like that. One thing that does happen is he does have this very texturally intense forehead chunk that comes out right here. See that? Actually comes past his brow. So I'll have to get that in there too. I think what I'll do for that is I'll just add one more loop. So if I grab this and I create another loop in there like that, then I can actually do two things. I can dial this part of his head back, bring the top of his brow back a little bit, and then maybe take this point right here, pull that out a little bit more, pull that one back a teeny bit, just a touch. Something like that when I subdivide that. Yeah, I'll have to exaggerate it even more. The other thing that's going to happen is when I join these two pieces together, right now, they're, like I said, it's the edge. So it, because it's an open edge, Sub-D's not going to pull it this way. But what can happen is when I start putting more geometry in there, where they'll stay as two edges like this when they're subdivided, when they connect, they'll start to pull together. So I can kind of exaggerate my geometry here, knowing that it's going to get pulled back down later on. The other thing to keep in mind is if I was doing this for real, because I'm pretending to do it now apparently, I mean by that, is I would leave some of this detail to a texture. So maybe I'll even try that when we get towards the end. If I can find a good square on photo, maybe we'll try to texture map this with his face rather than just painting it. But yeah, so that is one of the pieces that as you work into creating things in SketchUp, especially weird things that maybe people don't expect you to do in SketchUp, which is kind of my world, that you can make that decision. Where does geometry go and where does texture go? Because you can do a lot more with texture than you can with broad sweeps of geometry. So just not saying that I'm not going to add more detail. I'm just saying it's something to think about when you go in and you start modeling. All right, so a little bit of a crossover here. This piece, how did that happen? It doesn't really matter how it happened. I'm just going to grab vertex tools, take this point, and scoot it back over. All right, so I think what's going to have to happen now, I want to do it here. So I need more geometry here. So I'm going to take this piece, scoot it up like this. I'm seeing, so you guys see the shadow, the shelf right here? What's happening right there is that. So that subdivision happened and it cut it this direction. Not bad. When I subdivide it, I get something like that, but it still looks kind of odd here. So I generally like to make my meshes look a little bit cleaner, so I'll switch that back the other direction. So we are creating a crease right here. That's kind of what I'm looking for, where his nose will pop out right here, and I want to get a spot where I can go put his lip in. Sean Mayo joined us, and he says he's been drafting for the past 2 days. Are you drafting anything fun, Sean?
Is it Baby Yoda?
Huh? It's probably not Baby Yoda. Who in the world would spend time modeling Baby Yoda in SketchUp? Okay, so I'm gonna talk while I model, and I just want to say a thing because some of you may already be joined. You know, you guys are already SketchUp types, and that's why you're here. That's awesome. You already know this, but anybody who's just randomly joining because they saw Baby Yoda or they saw SketchUp is online or something like that, and they're going, "Why are you using SketchUp to draw Baby Yoda?" That is a totally valid question. And the answer is because I want to see if I can. I mean, that's really the best answer I could come up with. I know there's other tools out there that are made for organic modeling. ZBrush is an awesome tool. I've used it a bunch. Super fun to use. But it is its own tool set. It's a whole separate program. So if you have SketchUp, how far can you get with doing something like this? That's kind of the point of this show, is we try to figure out, you know, sometimes we stick right in the wheelhouse of architectural and we just say, how can we do this differently, or how quick can we do this, or that sort of thing. But we like to do things like this also just to see, well, how far can we take the tool we already have? So I know I've been, I won't say yelled at, but I've had people call me out going, "Oh, you're not using the right tool for that," or something like that. And I get it. I understand what you're saying. But I personally have also always been one to maybe push what I thought I could do or thought I knew how to do and try to take things a little bit further. So this also feeds that for me, where I can see what's possible with the tool that I have that maybe some people don't know about or don't think you can do. So I know I'm not going to, when I'm done, probably have the most detailed, best 3D model Baby Yoda that's ever existed, but I think what I end up with, all in, will probably be pretty good for a SketchUp model of a creature's face. All right. Sometimes when I start talking while I'm modeling, words keep coming out, and I don't always keep track of all of them, but hopefully that made sense. All right, so right here, we're getting to the point where I gotta create an overhang for his lip. Yeah, Turkey 2K gets it. You appreciate this type of video, things not supposed to make in SketchUp. You know, I proposed at one point a video series called "You Can't Do That in SketchUp."
I like that.
Because I mean that's kind of what we're talking about, because people say it all the time. Well, that's not something you can do, you know. But I will generally argue that point. All right, so here's a spot where I'm going to show a solution that's maybe not the ideal solution. Going back to that, doing things my way apparently. No, but here's a spot where I've not used I should point this out too. I learned to quad model using this tool set. So I know some people have gone into Maya or used some other software and learned how to quad model before or outside of SketchUp. For me, this was actually how I figured out how to do it. So I might not have always the best workflows here, and there may be simpler ways to do it. So what I want to do right now is I want to basically cut here to here to here. So I want to make not a full loop, but I just want to have a couple pieces go across like that. So there may be a tool in quad face tools, and maybe TomTom can straighten me out. But here's the way, what I would normally do is like this. I would connect this to this, this to this, this to this, and then delete these. Now, these three pieces that are left have to be quadded. So I would go click, 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 and then up here, same thing, click and click. And then I would just come in and grab these 5 lines, and like we did before, make those quad lines. So I would do something like that. So now is when I'd throw out to anybody out there who has done quad modeling like this, how do you go about that? If you want to insert a portion like that, just break down a small section, what's a better way to do that? Is there a better way to do that? Or is that, given the SketchUp and Subdi and quad face tools, is that the way to do it? That's a literal question. That's not a trick. So if you guys have an idea on how you would go about that, I would love to hear it, because I'm always looking to get better at things and, you know, learn how to do this stuff. All right. So with that there, ooh, that looks pretty cool. But I do have to crease it. So I'm going to grab these 3 lines. I'm going to put these all the way to 100, because I actually want that sharp shape in there. And these 2 up here, I'm going to maybe add just a little bit, maybe like a 50%. And I'll subdivide that, just to give me a little bit of that lip. Add even number of segments for a shape, but at least 6. Let me process that for a second. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, maybe, a little bit, kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I probably didn't start with the ideal number of pieces either. That is also probably a good point. Yeah, because then you can come back and so Titus is pointing out, if you start with even pieces, you can subdivide those into percent, basically. That makes sense. So I'm going to run through. You can, sorry, Titus. You can do that in SKP. You can do that in SketchUp. I like that. Save. That's another thing that came in there. Nerman says everyone should learn at least one more 3D modeler other than SketchUp. I totally agree. I think that SketchUp works best as a tool in a suite. Even when I was designing professionally, fell back to SketchUp a lot because it was so quick and easy, and I could visualize things so much better in SketchUp than I could on paper, or if I had to explain a 3D concept to somebody, it was so much easier in SketchUp. So even when I had a suite of tools surrounding it, SketchUp still ended up being a lot of times the big one. That was the main tool I used. But I agree with what you're saying, that you should, it's a good thing to have more than one tool in your toolkit, for sure. Yeah. Somebody said something about the wheel of pain too, but I think I lost it. What would I suggest learning? I would say it really depends on what you're making, because there's so many good tools out there. Personally, like I said, I would go something totally the opposite of SketchUp. SketchUp is a surface modeler. It does real good with simple shapes. I like something like ZBrush because it is just, it's totally the other end. It's like sculpting. You're totally moving a different way. I also say, you know, if you don't already have something like, know how to use Illustrator or something like that, that's worth checking out. That's a good thing to have in your tool belt as well. All right, we got to get a nose on here because it's starting to just look awkward. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm trying to think of the least destructive way to add a nose to this shape. I want to try to keep it all as one. So I think what I might do is I might come in here and do something like this. I was trying to save that loop. But I think I ended up causing myself more pain than I saved doing that. Let's see. I might just come right here and just, dang, it's getting dense right there at the middle of his face, but that's where the detail is going to be, so I may end up just adding another loop right here. I may. I'm going to think about it for a little while. Oh, just did it. Okay, let's look at what we got going here. This became odd. Okay, what's going on? All right, so I'm going to grab. All right, so grab that point right there. Move that away from the mesh a little bit. Okay, that's better. All right, so let's see here. So one thing I like to do when I start putting geometry, like details in, it's like a mummy Yoda or something like that. Look at him. So this is almost what I want, but I do want a little bit more separation from the face. So one of the things Vertex Tools has is a tool that gets me in a lot of trouble. So right now, let me walk you through my thought process here. So right now this is a quad. This is two separate pieces. If I delete this thing, it closes, it goes away. Because that's supposed to be how it works. One of the things you can do with Vertex tools is you can grab two pieces like this, and then with Vertex tools you can hit this Make Planar button. What that does is it assures that all the selected points are in a single plane. If these 4 points were in a single plane, I could actually delete or erase that line in the middle and use push-pull to pull out some geometry that I could make into a nose. The reason I say this gets me into trouble is this. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to hit Make Planar. That just happened. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to pull this out. And now I have some geometry that I can start working on to make a nose. The problem with that was when I hit Make Planar, it shifted these points. So if I exit, I no longer have closure right here. See that? So my two halves now have pulled away at that edge, and I have a gap. So that's not, see, look, it shifted at the top and the bottom. So if I come back up here, my next point, I'm back together. My point below the nose, back together. But this whole stretch, because of that, is pulled out of plane. Yeah, Nerman's got it. He knows where I'm going. So what I can do instead, this is where I would go use the extension joint push pull. And I would use a very specific command in joint push pull. One of the other things I want to make sure I do is, as I have this, I don't want geometry to go on this side. So you saw that when I did push pull, it pulled in plane with the surface, and then my two halves of my nose crossed over each other. So what I would do is go to joint push pull and use vector push pull. Because with vector push pull, I can very easily say, just come straight out on the green axes, like that. And then when I close this, my two halves line up like that. Let's see what happens when I just subdivide that. Nope. That is not awesome. All right, let's see. All right, so we're getting there. That's it looks like I don't know. That looks familiar. It looks like something. Oh, I kind of got a Dobby look going there. Back to Harry Potter again. Yeah, Titus called it too over on YouTube using that vector push-pull there. All right, so that's not too bad. It's a start. It's not a finish. It is a start. All right. Now I got to go in and I got to break this up into some more pieces. Again, I have not figured out how I want to make this nose at all, but I'm going to make some geometry up right here. I'm going to take this line and pull it forward like this. I'm going to grab this point and pull it up. I'll grab this point and pull it down. Yeah, cute little button nose. Something you could probably not take on an airplane because you could poke somebody with it. Know your noses. All right, but that's cool because we have an opportunity to improve that. That's my optimist speaking. All right, so I'm gonna go to Vertex Tools, grab this point, pull it way back, unsharpen the nose. Same thing down here at the bottom. You guys may have noticed too, I use window select to grab points. You can, in Vertex Tools, click on an individual point like that. It's totally doable. I just tend to usually open a window like that, which can be a little bit dangerous because then you're potentially grabbing geometry behind, but yeah, I live in the danger zone. Why do I have a point here? I don't know how this happened. That was odd. All right, let's see if it made a difference to my, okay. All right, I think, so part of me wants to start like adding more geometry again at this point, but I'm kind of thinking that I might be able to bulk this out a little bit and maybe use creasing to add rather than, this is already getting kind of dense in here. So let's see how that works out. Said the guy who has total faith in his abilities. All right, I'm gonna grab this piece. Actually, I'm gonna do this two different ways. First thing I'm gonna do is I wanna kind of make that nose, you know, should be bigger in the front. So I'm gonna use Vertex Tools, just take this point and pull it down some like that. Maybe pull this guy down a little bit too. Yeah, that looks closer to what I want. Maybe pull this back just a touch. And you guys will be relieved to know that Casey has made it. He's okay. Kara stealthily snuck out a few minutes ago, and Casey's here. So, hey, Casey.
Hi, sorry I'm late. You wouldn't believe the day I've had so far.
Oh.
I know that's not an excuse, but I apologize.
Oh, I've been given excuses already. Don't even stress about that. Hey, glad you can make it, and hopefully this ends up ending your day on a good note.
Yeah, I hope so. It's looking good so far.
All right. All right, so let's see. All right, so that's looking okay. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my image. Oh, it's so adorable. Look at that just little, so it's actually, it is quite round. Which is, so we're not in a bad spot. We're not, you know, fighting garbage fires right now. But we can do more here. So because it's round, I kind of want to make this almost parallel. So I want to get rid of this, the natural shape of a nose is to have more of a slope here and then almost go back flat underneath. But obviously he doesn't have that. He's definitely more rounded shape. So I'm gonna use vertex tools to just pull this down and maybe even pull it out a little bit and try to get that more of that shape. Pull this point back a little bit maybe. And let's subdivide that. Subdivide? Okay, so this is getting closer. Now I'm going to start creasing. I'm going to grab this and this line, and I'm going to crease those up to kind of pull that up like that. Oh, he looks so unhappy, but not in a cute way. He's got kind of a pouty face with the cheeks and it does go down right here. He doesn't smile.
I'd say he's less pouty and more like he's judging me for something.
All right, now we know.
Judgmental Yoda.
Casey and Yoda got a thing. All right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Yoda. He's a great character.
Oh yeah. All right, so not bad. His mouth is a little too wide, a little too low. He does have a large upper lip area, but it's not quite this big. So I'm going to pull this up and pull it together a little and give a little more room for cheeks. That's the other thing, is these cheeks come all the way down from the orbital eye socket and then back up to here. So this whole section should come out. Sorry, did I do that all behind myself? I'm trying to make sure that I gesture in a spot you guys can see. All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab the surface that makes the lip. I'm going to use vertex tools, just slide it up. All right, oop, I got some overlap here, and I think I can fix that one easy enough. I think that's just to reverse that quad. There we go. And the other thing is I want to pull this piece right here, make sure I get just that piece. Vertex tools and pull that in this way a little bit. There we go. That's a more judgmental lip, right, Casey?
Definitely.
All right, so let's take that point and pull that out. Try to get some more cheek out here. I'm going to pull out even more like that and wider. That's better. It needs to go even lower though. See that it needs to it comes down to kind of the edge of his mouth. And I am, like I was saying before, exaggerating kind of becomes the name of the game in subdivision. Okay.
Something's weird. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. All right, so I'm going to take that way down, this way down. I'm trying to maintain some geometry. Oh, yikes. Well, let's see. Yeah, see, even though that was so exaggerated, it still kind of came back. All right, I'm not too. You guys, I got to be totally honest, and I know I say this a lot, but there's some models where I'm like, why did I say I would try that? Baby Yoda may have been one of those this morning. It's possible, but I'm pretty impressed with what we got here so far. Yeah, I'm not too upset about that. All right, as far as rough in geometry, semi-detailed geometry, I'm feeling okay. All right. No, I didn't actually make Walter White. Somebody was asking about, I can't remember how it happened. You have to watch the video to get the full story. But the idea was making a human face in SketchUp. And what I ended up doing was grabbing a face off the internet, and it was a guy who had a mustache and kind of reddish hair and looked like he maybe had a rough day. It could have been a mugshot, I don't know. But by the time I got done putting the geometry on it, it looked an awful lot like Bryan Cranston in the first season of Breaking Bad. Wasn't intentionally supposed to be Walter White ever, but yeah, that's what happened. That was the first Ask Me to Model Anything, which was definitely a fun one.
Yeah, well, apologies again for all the coughing and clearing my throat. It's cold outside on the way over to the office.
Did you just come back inside?
Yep.
All right, there we go. I feel pretty nice about this initial stab at Baby Yoda. No actual stabbing of Baby Yoda. We all know how my wife feels about that anyhow. All right, I may have to actually just bite the bullet and restart SketchUp so I can get rid of that sub D or that vertex tool error. But all right, so I'm gonna go make that crease in the forehead we were talking about before by taking this piece back a little ways. And maybe I'll also take it down just a touch. Yeah, there it is. So if I wanted to, that actually looks pretty good. That's not bad at all. I feel like his mouth is still too up, but no, it is actually pretty wide. Now I'm going to pull this up a little bit. All right. I'm going to grab this piece right here. Vertex tools. Bring it over. Bring it up, subdivide. Okay. It's coming together. Something's happening. So some of the crease we're getting here too, you look right back here, so that kind of flattens out. This is happening because I'm adding so many quads right here. Let me look at, see if I can. All right, so the cool thing is because these haven't been broken, see that, how they're all solid, I can actually come in here and force some of these back together. I can come in here and do this. It's not okay right now, but I could take this point back to here, and now that is a single quad. And that's just gonna save me geometry for one thing. And then, there we go. And the other thing it's going to do is as I subdivide, well, there's less. It's still there. But when I have multiple quads right next to each other like this, it lessens the rounding effect because it's rather than pulling this corner all the way against here, it's pulling this to here, so it's smoothing or rounding right here, and then rounding here, and then rounding here. And since these are in line, they pretty much just stay flat. So what I may want to do is, this is something I could possibly mess with more once I have the two halves merged together, possibly, maybe. Stuff will get messed with at that point, I can guarantee that. But I can also take like this section right here, pull it out just a touch. And that might help give, yeah, see how it kind of goes out right now rather than sticking flat again. So definitely something I want to keep in mind as I put Yoda all together. All right, honestly, feeling pretty cool about where he's at. Okay, if you get out of vertex tools with escape, is that what it is? Is it a function of being in here and using sub D while in vertex tools? Well, I wasn't doing that. I don't know. Next time Tom's in town, bring him on here, make him explain it. Okay, so he's looking pretty cool. He's looking good. I want to figure out the eyes. And I think I kind of want to go the similar direction to what I did with Woody. I think I want to make the eye a separate piece and then put it into the head because I think I'm going to be able to get better detail that way and maintain a round eye. That's a big piece is soon making perfect spheres is difficult with sub D unless you start with a sphere. But eyes can tend to look either flat or too cone-like, pokey. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to save because I'm awesome at saving, of course. And I'm going to start by making a sphere. I'm going to go grab my circle tool. I'm going to draw a circle vertically. And from that center, I'm going to draw a circle horizontally. And I'm going to grab one, tell the other to follow it, and I have a sphere. And that's going to be my eyeball. And I'm going to grab that by that end piece. I'm going to throw it right here. Obviously, it's not the right size yet. I'm going to turn on X-ray and looks like it's about the right size for baby Yoda's head. So I'll pull that out, see how that intersects. Okay.
Not bad.
Considering I was totally making that up, that's pretty cool. All right, so we need 2 eyes, not 1. So I have an idea. I'm going to try. I haven't done this before, but I think it'll work. Fundamentally, this is pretty simple. So if I'm going to take this component as it exists right now, I'm going to Command X to cut it. Then I'm going to double click into this group, or into this component, excuse me, and go to Edit, Paste in Place. That places it at the exact same XYZ location, but hold on, I'm just thinking about my process and I think I ran into a snag. Hold on, pretend I didn't say any of the things I just said. I'm going to take this and I'm going to Control C to copy it, not cut it. Then I'm going to go into Context, Edit, Paste in Place, and now that put that same thing in the same XYZ location but in context, so it's inside the component. When I leave the component now, I have one in both eyes, in both sides. Problem is, this one's out of context, this one's in context. And this is actually going to cause a problem if I subdivide in here, I think. Yeah, it won't subdivide this group right now. So what I'm going to do now is take this. I'm having issues. All right, here.
Sounds weird.
Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Sometimes I need to talk less and do more things. All right, so there it is in context. I'm going to come into here, grab all this. I'm going to Command X again, exit out. Where'd my eye go? Yeah. What are you looking at, baby Yoda? All right, that didn't work at all. That was a total flop of a thing to learn. Everybody pretend they didn't hear me say those things. I'm going to make this a group. C, edit, paste in place. I come over here now. Oh, C, I cut it, that's why. Edit, paste in place, make group. All right, so now I have two of these. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a new layer called eyes in my layer, turn my eyes off. Now I can go into context, get rid of this. And now I could turn my eyes on and off.
Clever.
All right. So Baby Yoda doesn't just have big glowy eyes like this. He actually has eyelids. Rude of him, I know, but it is how his face works. So what I'm thinking of is projecting a shape of eyelids onto his eye. And then pulling those out to give him eyelids. All right, so I'm going to do that by saving. Hold on, I got to see if I said, no, you guys have 2 saves in the comments. Dang it. I figured the whole page I would at least like save without being reminded, but I guess not. All right, so I'm going to import a picture of Baby Yoda's face. I'm going to actually import the exact same one. Oops, I hit escape for some reason there. Import desktop, same picture, and import it as an image. I'm just going to drop that here. And, all right, I'm going to scale that up. So what I want to do is I want to get just, oh, he's just so cute. All right, drinking his little soup there. I'm going to grab this shape right here, and then I'm going to project that onto the eyeball. I'm just thinking I'm going to do everything I just did again because I made those groups and not components. So, oh, that's the kind of day I'm having. All right, so I'm going to go to Draw Bezier Curve. I'm just going to start at one side of his eye, go to the opposite side of the eye, and then just pull one arc up and one arc down. Same thing for this side, end to end, one down. And then I'm going to take that piece and, sorry, Baby Yoda. Make that a group. All right, and now, dang, that was pretty solid placement right there. All right, I'm going to try this. Everything may catastrophically fail. This may go bad. This may go as bad as me just trying to say catastrophically. We'll see what happens. All right. I'm going to take this now. I'm just going to take this surface, right click. No, I can't do that. I was going to intersect with model, but I can't. I have to actually explode. No, because these are both groups. So I'm going to group these two together. Here's how to do it. And then come in here, explode both. Grab all of it, intersect face with selection. I can double click and delete the face there, delete my extra line on the ends. And then let's just click out to see how that looks. Whoop. Okay, I dig this. And now I'm going to take this portion after saving, and I'm going to go to Tools, for a 6 collection, Joint Push Pull, and I'm going to pull this out just a touch. That's too much. And that's going to give me Baby Yoda eyelids.
Very nice.
Like I said, I didn't make this right. So now I have some things to figure out because I think that despite Baby Yoda's big brown eyes, I think that eye is too big. So, did you like that? That was my Command S hand gesture. I'm going to scale this just a little bit smaller. Silently judging Casey. Oh, Casey. No, no, no.
Well, I apologize for being late.
What are we going to do with you? All right, anyhow. Okay, so, whoops. I think that's okay. This gives me some ability to go in and now work more with the main mass to get the eye socket, that orbital cavity around his eye correct. Because you can see I need to come back here. This is too far out now. This needs to...
Okay, let's hear fine.
Siri got involved there. You know, that's what we're doing. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to save, and I'm going to try this one more time. All right, so this I'm going to make into a component called my eye. I'm going to Command C it. I come in here, Command V. Oh, nope, not Command V. Edit, paste in place. There it is. So if I come out now, it should be right over here. All right, so now I'm going to come into this one, select. Something weird's going where I can't, it's not letting me select that component for some reason.
It's very strange.
It is. So if I, huh. It's so weird. Try to select it through outliner too. I can't get it. Go to this one, can I get it? No, I can double click it. But I can't seem to. All right, well, I don't know. Oh, I just did it again. No. All right, enough of that nonsense. I'm going to take these two now. Call that my new eye. Make this one unique. Come in here, get rid of that. All right, so now I should have just one eye here and one eye here. Beauty. Okay, sorry. Got derailed there for a second. Now that we got that, this is not too bad. This is looking all right. So I'm wondering if we can get a little bit of a bag going under his eye here. I want to pull this back, make this a little sharper here, and have this kind of die back into where his nose is at. And save. Of course, Alice, I was just about to do that. All right, so let's unsubdivide. And so you can see how far this actually comes over in the model. This is what I was talking about before. When I subdivide, this line is jumping from here back to here. This is where creasing comes into play. So if I grab this line and I crease, I'm probably pull that back. So you guys notice what's happening there? I'm creating a negative space. It's actually pulling it back in this way, which is a cool feature, but it doesn't really work for Baby Yoda's face right here. What I want to do instead is actually crease this point. So I think creasing that point there, see how that pulls that whole cavity over that way? So what's happening now, if I go past 50%, it's still doing that. It's pulling that point back inside. That's because all this geometry is fighting to stay pulled taut. It's kind of like this thing's made of like a rubber sheet and you start pulling pieces different ways. But this is what creasing will let you do. So I can actually come in here now, grab this point maybe pull this one back a little bit, That gives me a little more distance with this one. So at this point, I'm just kind of, nope, maybe I can choose this line and crease that one back. All right, that's closer, getting closer. Up here, I want to try to create that kind of a little more of a fold there. So let's see what we could do here. I might actually take this one and bring it down a little bit so I create negativity, negative. Uh-oh, there we go. Not you. Pull that up underneath like that. There we go. That gave me a little sharper shape there. You know, I think what I'm going to have to do, I don't love this because I'm trying to keep my geometry minimalized, but I think I'm going to need another break right across here. So I might have to just grab this. I need more geometry. And this is why I was saying I don't really like it, is because this is going to take it all the way along the ear, but I think I can clean it up. I can make it work. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw a loop right through there. So that's going to help get my eye shape I want over here. And then I think what I'll do is I will just tie that back over there and then get rid of
You missed.
this geometry. I missed?
Yeah, slightly.
Oh, what happened there? Oh, I missed. Got it. That's on me. Psh. Come on, Yoda. You even trying? All right. Thank you, Casey.
No problem.
And then we'll just tie that back together like that. All right. Sub D. Looking sweet. All right. And that gives me the ability to take this guy right here, pull him over, and there we go. And that gets me more of that gradual shape rather than... All right, it's coming together, you guys. It's really coming together. Let's turn my eyeball on and see. Yikes! Oh my gosh.
That cannot be unseen.
So tonight as you're falling asleep, just, hey, what you doing? Trying to go sleep? Want to talk about something? Want to do something? Want to hang out? Oh boy. Let's get rid of hidden. That's better. All right. Cute baby Yoda. Cute baby Yoda. Not terrifying baby Yoda. All right. I want to look at my picture over here again. So this side of his face does go back. It's not quite as harsh as I have it. So let's do that. Let's unsubdivide this. And then we can actually take some of this geometry, maybe back and out just a little bit, and see how that, see if that softens up that severity. All right, that's not bad.
Oh, we're getting there.
This does, it stays back a little bit, but it does come in a little more. So let's do that. Maybe both these, and then we'll take them, bring them back like this, bring them in a little bit.
Chat says he's looking a little like E.T. at times. My comment is, does
I can see that.
Has anyone ever noticed in one of the scenes in the Star Wars prequels, in the Senate room, there's a pod full of E.T.s in the background, just for one scene and only for a few seconds.
I remember going and pausing on that because, yes, ETs are part of the Star Wars, what do you call it? World? It's not a world, it's mythos. There we go. Canon? I don't know.
Maybe? I don't know.
I do remember that because, yeah, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are friends.
Yep.
All right, that's good, but I killed this socket a little bit too much, so I gotta bring this piece back up. And once again, this is what I was talking about before. this ends up being a good portion of at least my sub-D workflow is doing this sort of thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's more of a sculpting process
Yes,
than a traditional modeling process.
it sure is. But you know what? This is I'm not too unhappy with. Oh, hold up. My proportions are not too
Not bad at all.
terribly far off. Here, let's get rid of his. He looks so wrinkled and old with those lines on there.
It's not bad at all.
Okay, I'm feeling positive about this ish. Positive-ish. I do think his eyes have to come together a little bit though. So I'm going to move it along.
Oh, someone in chat is saying they're having trouble hearing me.
Let me.
Is
I can bump you a little bit.
That any better?
How's that? How's Casey sound now? All right.
Hopefully that's better.
All right. I think one of the things that I'm missing, I'm looking at major features now, is the bridge of his nose, despite being fairly flat against the tip of his nose sticking out there, his bridge does actually come out quite a ways. So we need to do that because this is fairly far back. So this section right here, so I think what I got to do is, I'm actually set up pretty well with the geometry I already have because I have a lot of geometry here. I think what I can do is we'll take that line, scoot it forward, that point, move it forward, something like that, and then we can actually take those two and a little more. All right, I want to get these three pieces. And I'll take this one piece.
I think that's looking pretty good.
And again, this sharpness right here is going to get tamed down. That's definitely a, you know, that point right there is that's gonna all come together more once we tie the two pieces together. I think to facilitate this though, I do think I'm gonna take these pieces right here and see what happens if I crease them a little bit. Yeah, and then yeah, I'm gonna look for these pieces to kind of round together when I go to one head. That's gonna look even better. Awesome. Heck yeah. I'm liking the Yoda. I'm liking the baby Yoda. All right. We're not 100%, but you know what? I think something's bothering me, and I think it is the lack of bottom lip. He doesn't have a strong bottom lip, but he does have a little lip popping out here at the bottom. I can just make it out here, but it's there. So I think that one of the issues I'm having right now is we don't have that. So let's see, what do we got going on here? So I'm gonna go ahead and add another loop. See how quickly I can tie that back into geometry, but yikes, that's gonna be scary. All right. These two right here, I think, can just. Well, it looks fine when I subdivide it, so I'm kind of okay with an ugly unsubdivided mesh as long as when I subdivide, it looks good.
I'm inclined to agree.
All right, so take these pieces right here, I'm going to bring them up with vertex tools, and I'm going to bring them out with vertex tools. And now we actually got a mouth. I think the other thing is this lip is too flat. I need his lip to come out, round out a little bit. So I do that and then give him a real bottom lip. I think I will feel better. Whoa! Something got weird. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do this by, see, I almost have to tie that back up. Here, let me round out the mouth first. So take this one, vertex tools. And don't ever tell anybody you can't climb underneath a model to model it either. If you got to get on the ground and look up like this, just go for it. All right. Let's see if I subdivide it. That's looking, all right, that's better. That's better. Now I just got to get that bottom lip. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take these first two, I think, and let's crease them up. I want it to die back under, well, he kind of does have, well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull that one up too. That's looking better. All right, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the top, and I'm just going to use vertex tools to pull that lip out a little bit. I think one of the problems I have, I keep smacking another button when I'm hitting the V. I don't know what button it is though. But anyhow, sorry, apologizing again for that error message. What is going on? All right, I'm going to do this. All right, that should give me, there we go. Not sure what's going on. Hopefully that helps. All right, so I kind of feel like I want to throw a whole nother loop in here because I want to give that lip a little bit of an undercut right there. And we're not doing terrible. We're doing all right here. I tell them,
We're doing great on
I say to myself more than anyone else. I appreciate that. Casey says we're good. Go ahead, add more loops. Mm-hmm. All right. Now I'm going to take these two. I'm going to tuck them up underneath a little bit. Maybe this too. I think I'm going to grab this one and bring it way back under. So his mouth kind of, and then maybe just crease these. I'm saying maybe not because I'm trying to be like nonchalant as I do this. It's because I really don't know if this is going to work. All right. Yeah. So someone's asking about vertex tools. You can, one of the nice things about vertex tools is you can do things like this and move masses of points. My goal with this one was really to try to have a clean unsubdivided, there it goes. Huh, that's so weird. I like him. I like that. I want a 3D print of that sitting on my desk.
Me too. It's cool.
So yeah, okay. I like it. I like the lip. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think I'm going to merge these halves and then work on the seam real quick. And we might be closing in on a finished Baby Yoda here. Let's see what happens. Actually, before I do that, let me see what I can do down here. Is there any spot I can... All right. I don't like how much geometry there is over here. So I'm going to, from this point on, I'm just going to come in here and do this. Because I think what I can do is, yeah, I can make that one piece all the way around. Oh, not this piece though, because this piece is where that comes in. There we go. And then just like I did before, grab those new division pieces that I created, soften, smoothen, shadows, smoothen, smooth. All right, and then, all right. I'm feeling pretty happy about that, Baby Yoda. So I'm going to take these two pieces. I'm going to unsubdivide them. That's an important piece. If you're going to take your two halves and put them together, go to the base geometry. So go all the way back to non-subdivided and start there. I'm going to take those two pieces, make those into a group, go into that group, and explode these two groups. All right, and if all goes well, you should see that just perfect seam all the way around. But of course, all never goes well for me. All is kind of rude, and all left me with a gap around the nose. So when I went through and started making all those changes, something happened there. So there's a couple ways I could fix this. The easiest way is, not the quickest way, is to just, I'm going to grab this point, and on the red axis, I'm going to pull it over to this point right here. Grab this one, pull it over to here, and then that'll close. I only have a couple points, so this isn't too bad. But like I said, something I take full response. It wasn't intentional, of course, but I did that. I don't know how I did it, but some point where I was moving geometry around, I scooted that to a place it shouldn't be. Whoops. Like I said, fortunately, it's fairly easy. Not the quickest thing in the world, but it's not too painful to clean that up. Unless that happens. Oh, I'm overlapped here. Hey, that's even easier, because then I can just click here, and then click to here, and then click to here. You know, I do this, this almost always happens to me. I should probably look into what it is in my workflow that causes that variation, because I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Ooh, I do have something in the middle there. All right. And that's another one of those spots. This is my growth, you guys. You can see me growing and becoming better in that I didn't spend 20 minutes undoing, redoing, and figuring out where I made that gap. I just deleted it.
Mm-hmm. Getting a lot better at that.
Let it go. Move on.
Yeah, I struggle with that a lot too. Just that whole must be perfect. So I've got to figure out what I did wrong, and then I spend another hour on my project.
Not worth it. All right. So now we can go in here. actually increase. All right, so I got a little bit of a crease here. I wonder why that is. That is pretty sharp. All right, let's grab some vertex tools. Let's do a little bit of softening. Oh, I know what's going on here. So when you do this, if you subdivide and you're still getting this crease, see that sharp black and white change there? Take a peek on the inside.
Oh, that would do it.
As soon as I drew that line to close that loop right there, I created a plane that bisects the inside of his head. So inside there, that spider web is a single plane right in here. So, trying to figure out what was going on there. Take that surface and delete it. Now we should see, here I'm all promising this. Now when we subdivide it, did it come back? It did. All right, I gotta go, sorry, unsubdivide, go in there and clean up. It's getting late. Now resubdivide. There we go. Oh, look at that little, look at that impish nose. His lip comes out in the front. Oh yeah, nice smooth forehead. Oh, baby. All right. That's so much better. Okay, let's look at him with eyes, without lines all over his face. You guys, I feel pretty excited about the way this model is turning out, because I won't say I had doubts, but I had doubts. All right, let's I want to do something. I'm just curious.
Now we're getting somewhere. Somewhere good, I think.
I like the idea of good. All right, and then up here, I'm going to turn my hidden back on. Oh, I don't, it's not a hidden issue, it is a, there we go. And this is one of the spots that this can actually be kind of nice, because you can use these divisions to go in and apparently I can't talk and click. My mouth straight up stopped as soon as I started painting. All right. So I do that, and now I want to come back in here.
All right.
All right, so this is honestly, it kind of looks like Yoda wearing a creepy Yoda mask.
I like it though.
Yeah, he's not bad. So there's definitely some spots that can use. Okay, so I wasn't sure what I was gonna make or how this is gonna turn out. There's some spots that I would want to go back, and I would definitely want to clean up. As I'm looking at it now, his eyes are bigger. They definitely come down like this, and you can see this top lip. Now that I have it and put colors on it, I can see this top lip should come like this. His cheekbone here should come down like right about here. Yeah, we'll just say it's old Yoda. Look, he just hunched over. But this is all stuff that's, like I said, this is still a sub D model. So even though I colored it and I joined the two sides together, I can still come in here, undo that, and I can make those changes. So it's never, I'm not at the point of no return yet. The issue that comes up now is if I go in and start moving vertices, I got to make sure to grab it on both sides and pull that down. And then grab this piece and this piece and pull it down. There's not an automatic what do you call it, mirror function in vertex tools. So that is something you have to keep in mind if you're gonna do something like that. But overall, yeah, man, that turned out pretty cool. I wonder if I could shrink his mouth. I wonder if I could go like this. Grab that geometry, make sure that geometry in the back is unselected. Totally not talking from experience, but I heard a guy who did that once. Take vertex tools to that, and then maybe scale it a little bit smaller. Grab these two and these two. Bring them down a little lower. That was cool. That worked out pretty good. And maybe one last thing I would do is take that down a little bit, because I think I would want to take this You look so angry. Why so angry, Baby Yoda? I gotta bring him back now that I made him bigger. Cool. Yeah, I feel pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
Somebody's saying rotate the eyes. I can see that. Let's see. Say 6 degrees. I'm paying attention to my units because I want to make sure that I do this the same on both of them. So here I just want to come up and do 6 degrees here too. So they're not different. And then I think I'll also take this as a whole. Yeah, he is. Baby Yoda's ticked, man. He's gonna start a fight. Whoops. Yeah, I can't see it without the green. The green just makes it too. Oh, he is ticked. Chill, Yoda, chill. All right, we're gonna have to one more time. Yeah, I gotta put that back.
Maybe rotate the other direction or something.
I think that the eye's just a little bit too. I may have exaggerated the shape a little too much.
Maybe a little bit.
But
I still think it's good.
yeah, he's maybe a little blocky. Maybe you have to pull these in a little bit. But yeah, overall, I cannot really complain about how that turned out way better than I thought. My biggest fear is that, you know, he would look like a monster, and you know, more of a monster than he's supposed to. You know, he's a creature, but I was concerned that he would be terrifying. I don't think that happened. I'm gonna scale that. Nope, I'm gonna use vertex tools to bring that in just a little bit. Cool. But here is a theory that I have that I wanted to test out. All right, I'm going to take all of this. We've moved beyond modeling at this point. I'm going to have to come back in here. You guys have to wait just 1 second because I do have to color this again to test my theory. Color in his ears again. Let's see. All right. Okay, so there's Baby Yoda, and now here's my theory here. I need a different color. I need a remember exactly what this looks like, but nope. Let's do the front part of his face. Mm-hmm. All right, and then use that same color I had before on the whole ear. Nope, wrong one. And then this is kind of working the way I was expecting it to be honest. Anybody's catching it yet?
I know what we're doing. I'm not going to say anything, though.
I know I'm using rough, big, broad strokes for this, and I really should check a photo reference because some of this might not be perfect, but it's definitely coming in close. Yeah. I remember exactly what the hair looks like, but my theory is not far off. I am pretty sure Mogwai and Yoda are related.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yep. It's not just the ears. There's definitely some proportions that are the same on these two heads. Oh crap, they're components. Oh, I forgot to make these unique. Oh boy. I gotta fix that because that's an issue.
Oh, the joys of live demos. You never know what's going to happen.
But that's the one thing you know for sure. You have no idea what's going to happen. Yep. Mogwai and Yoda are more than distant relatives. Who was that? Who made Gremlins? That wasn't Spielberg or Lucas, right? That was someone who wasn't those two guys. Maybe they just like similar ideas or something there. All right, there we go.
It was not either of them. It's
That didn't turn out right. Oh man. Oops. Okay, well, should probably stop doing things now.
So I'm curious, is the 3D warehouse upload going to include the Mogwai head as well?
Maybe I'll end up doing 2 uploads this week because, yeah, I shouldn't be the only one who has to have this on their hard drive. Well, let me know what you guys think.
We've got a question from Twitch that if we feed Baby Yoda after midnight, does he turn into Jabba the Hutt?
I like that idea. Only one way to find out, I figure. Maybe that's what the next season of Mandalorian's all about.
Don't spoil it. I still have an episode left to finish.
Oh, that's the good stuff. Yeah, get on there.
I've been watching it lately, and it's so good. It's just, I've really enjoyed it this year.
Oh man, did somebody just throw do or do not, there is no try. 100% got it. I'll say, okay, so those of you who have kids, and if you don't have kids, write this down, but quoting Yoda to a child, it's magical. You sound so wise and so educated and smart until they see Star Wars and they're like, hey, wait a minute. Well, I mean, quote him without doing the verb at the end of the sentence, because then you kind of sound dumb. But yeah, there's definitely Yoda wisdom out there that you can use with your kids. Cool. Well, yeah, I did Gizmo in like 5 minutes, you guys. He was way easier than Baby Yoda. I'm gonna call it there. I was thinking about trying to do some photo texture, but I don't really have a good photo to put on there, and I'm gonna end up spinning my wheels. So I'm okay with this being a little on the briefer side. Yoda's a little guy. His model's only 2.5 hours instead of 3. So
Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna be good. Yeah, there's definitely some proportions aren't perfect, but I'm thinking like, you know, you go into a video game and you play with the character and you get a special skin of that character. I kind of feel like it wouldn't be too big of a leap to take a Yoda video game character and skin him as Gizmo. That wouldn't be too hard. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to call it there. So I want to thank all of you for coming. Thank you, Casey. Even though she's not here, thank you, Kara. And thank, of course, everybody for coming and hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, I was definitely feeling apprehensive. I did not think I was going to have a solution for this. I didn't know how this was going to all come together. So I feel pretty good about the way it turned out in the end. Next week, we are doing another suggestion. We're going to do the Christchurch Cathedral. So that's going to be a fun one. That should be cool to see. Yeah, you know, we've done a couple of older architectural models before, and they always turn out fun as long as you remember to save.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to tempt fate and, you know, model for an hour without saving again just to see what happens. I'll try to save regularly. So, as usual, thank you guys so much. If you do have ideas that you think would make good future models, please, please, please leave them in the comments. We're wrapping up now, but I will make sure to keep the comments open for about 5 minutes. If you guys want to leave comments in there, I go back and read them later. Usually by the time I'm done with this, I'm kind of done, so I don't really pay a lot of attention. So it's good to have them written somewhere. Yeah, and somebody's saying print unsubd Yoda. I think I might have to do that also. So yeah, this will end up on the warehouse. This will end up somewhere. I should probably put this will be bonus geometry down here. We'll put all these guys on a. This is Baby Yoda cosplaying as Gizmo down at the bottom there. So we'll turn him off for this. And that's what I'll throw that up on warehouse. Actually, I'm going to do this too because this is a nice option to have. I'm going to take the whole thing. I'll copy it over here and I will upload a subdeed and non-subdeed version. So if you have your own copy of subd, you can take this and you can work on it. You can go through and move the unsubdivide it, move pieces around. You can do that. That's awesome. If you don't have subd and you want to download it and have Smooth Yoda, you can do that as well. So this is what will end up on warehouse. Sorry, I always jumped ahead a little too quick there because I wanted to turn my lines back on. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going to officially call it. That's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for supporting me through that. That was a rough time, and I was glad I had something to lean on. Thank you guys. So have an awesome weekend. Enjoy your week next week, and hopefully join us back here next week as we do Christ Church Cathedral live in SketchUp. So thank you. And, oh, wrong mouse. I got two mouses over here.